I remember the sneers, the endless comments about how I was wasting my life. A painter? That's not a real job. My father scoffed, eyes narrowed with contempt. My mother shook her head, whispering to my sister about how I was embarrassing the family with my ridiculous dreams. They called it naive, foolish, an impossible fantasy that would lead to nothing but failure. Every rejection, every criticism, felt like a punch to my chest, but I buried the pain deep down. I knew I had to prove them wrong. So I left. I fled the suffocating shadows of their doubts and set out into a world that mocked and underestimated me. I poured every ounce of my soul into becoming a game developer, creating worlds where I could escape their judgments. I worked tirelessly, nights blending into mornings, sacrificing comfort for the dream I refused to abandon. I faced failure after failure, crashing code, rejected pitches, months of struggle. But I refused to give up. Every setback only fueled my resolve. Years later, I finally cracked it. My first successful game hit the shelves, and it exploded online. Critics praised it, players adored it, and I was finally standing on a stage I had fought so hard to reach. I had built a career that I was proud of, a life that proved my worth, not just to myself, but to everyone who ever doubted me. And then I returned home. The old house looked smaller somehow, the yard overgrown, the familiar porch creaking under the weight of neglect. I stepped inside, feeling a strange mix of nostalgia and defiance. My family gathered in the living room, eyes wide as they took in the stranger I'd become. I saw their faces, shock, disbelief, a flicker of something I couldn't quite place. I carried a gift, a framed print of my latest game, vibrant and alive, a testament to years of blood, sweat, and tears. I placed it gently on the coffee table, then looked at them. "Remember when you told me I was wasting my life?" I asked, voice steady but resonant. "Remember when I was the embarrassment you whispered about behind closed doors?" They looked away, uncomfortable, ashamed, perhaps. "I did this," I continued, voice rising with quiet power. "Not because I wanted to prove you wrong, but because I refused to let your doubts define me. I fought through every rejection, every insult, every moment of despair. And now, I stand here, not just as a game developer, someone who turned a ridiculous dream into a reality, but as proof that no one can tell you who you are unless you let them." For a moment, silence hung heavy in the air. Then my father looked up, eyes glassy, voice trembling. "We didn't see it then. We were blinded by our own fears, but we're proud of you." That's all I needed to hear. The pain of rejection had become the fuel that ignited my rise. I had turned their doubts into my armor, their skepticism into my motivation. I have faced the worst and come out stronger, more resilient than I ever imagined. Now, I walk back into that house not as the failure they mocked, but as the victory they never believed in. And as I leave that room, I know one thing. Sometimes, the greatest revenge is simply proving everyone wrong by living the life they said was impossible.